Hello everyone. I was going through some stamps yesterday and I came across these that I haven't used for ages, if I've used them at all. In fact, I bought them at a craft show at Alexandra Palace, and I just love these little kind of tree things. I already had this one, which is a memory box stamp, and a memory box sentiment which says Merry Christmas. Again, it's a mix of script and print, which I really like. It's cling cushion came off, so I just used it as is with a little bit of glue stick. But what I thought I'd like to do is to make a scene, a Christmas card with a scene of a hillside of snow and trees and stuff like that. I thought if I made a Christmas card a week, by November, I might not be quite so stressed as realising that I don't have enough cards to send. So my idea is this. I've got a square card. I haven't folded the base yet, but this is the card panel, and I thought I would have an oval aperture, kind of like that. Put the Merry Christmas, if I use this one, I may use a different one, kind of there or somewhere. But I also thought I'd have my hillside scene in here, but I've dug out a whole bunch of creatures. Here's a moose, and there's a whole bunch of deer, reindeer. Some of them are Gummiapan, some are Sizzix. I think the Gummiapan ones may be a little too whimsical, in fact, for the scene behind, but we'll see. I've cut some out and they're in this tray here. So the way I want to go about making my hillside scene is with a piece of masking paper and some ink and a blending brush. And my ink of choice this time is iced spruce. Spruce is a tree after all, isn't it? Ice comes in the winter, so there you go. There's my choice. Right, this is the kind of thing. I've just had a quick play on a piece of scrap paper. That's the sort of thing we're doing, and it's going to be in a window a bit like this. So I'll just show you how I go about doing that. But I tell you what, there's a dirty mark on here. Can you see? I'll use this piece and then make my frame afterwards. So I need it to be practically the width of this piece of card and about that depth. Okay, I can always use the bottom for the stamping of the sentiment if I want to. Right, here I've got a couple of different post-it pads, post-it notes. This one is a kind of a special one in that the sticky bit goes all the way down to there. All of that part has got the tacky surface. This one simply goes down to there. That's the tacky surface. Either is fine, but if you want it to stick to your paper, this one is quite a good option to go for. Another crafter told me about this. Okay, but that isn't wide enough to mask the distance that I want. So I'm going to need 2 sheets. So get 2 sheets and just stick them together, overlapping. There we go. So I've got a piece that's, oops-a-daisy, a piece that's wide enough for my purposes. Okay, now it's stuck together. What I want to do is to just tear a hillside. So I'm just going to, doesn't matter how we go, and the roughness of the line makes it much more realistic when it comes to your actual scene. Now I can use either piece. If I use this piece, I'd have to be very careful I don't go over the bottom. So for the minute, I'm going to use this because both sides have got sticky on. All right, I'm going to start near the top. That's a bit too far north, I think. Let's start about there. Now, here's my ink. Get the animals out of the way for the minute. And my brush. Now, what I'm going to do is to start on the masking paper and just go north, if you know what I mean. Doesn't need to have an incredible amount, actually. There we go. That's enough. Now we'll take it off and move it down just a little bit, a bit of something or other there. Okay. Let's bring it down this way. And again. Okay. So one that's a bit straighter this time. Just very gently. I don't know if you can see, but I've tried to get slightly lighter as we've come down. So the distance is darker and the foreground is lighter. Let's just have a look and see if that's going to be, I think that's probably going to be enough. Right, we still need our piece of paper because now we're going to come on to stamping the trees. And I'm going to put this back where it was when I first did that top layer. And as they're furthest away, I'm going to use the smallest stamp of trees. Okay, you get a little bit of ink on the stamps. And I'm going to stamp so that they come over the masking paper. Okay, take it off. And they look like they're just behind the hill. Let's go down to the next layer. There we go. I think I'm going to use the next size up. Can you see that? I think they're exactly the same stamp except for size. Let's try that. Isn't it pretty? I just love this colour, don't you? Absolutely love it. Okay. Some more of this size, I think, perhaps. How many layers have we got? We've only got one more left. Okay, let's put this back. Right. I think I got these Post-its on Amazon. Another crafter told me about the fact that you could get these masking sheets with more of the sticky on. Well, they're not masking sheets, they're Post-it notes, but you know what I mean. If you find like this, that with use, the two pieces are coming apart, you may have a longer one that's, you know, absolutely big enough to manage, but if you find it coming apart, oh, that's the end of my sellotape, just join them together with a piece of tape. I have to put a refill in there. That's lasted a very long time. Okay, where am I up to? This one. Let's just do my trees. I'll use these again, I think. Peel it off. And the last one, I'm going to use some of the big one about in there, I would think. Okay, let's get some ink on this stamp. And these again are very, very similar in design to those, so they will look like it's all part of a scene. These, as you can see, are Stampscapes, a world of rubber stamps, Tree Duo and a Tree Duo Large. So that's what I'm using. Right, let's go with this. Okay, let's have a look. I think that should look quite nice in there. And then my idea is, let me bring my creatures over here. My idea is to have one of these, kind of, or two perhaps, like this, almost as if they're looking into the scene. That might be nice, mightn't it? I think that'd be fun. You see, let's have a look at the others, but I think they're going to be a little a little too whimsical, as I mentioned. That needs to be on the other side. I don't think these are going to go, really. No, I think these two will go quite nicely. I may cut another couple to make them a little bit more robust, because I shall want them partly on the front panel and partly on foam tape, I think. Right, this is my panel. And that is my... No, I won't cut them out because I think they're both the same make, but the trouble with trying to cut out two dies at the same time is the fact that the thickness might vary slightly, so that what cuts out one may not cut cleanly with the other, because the thicker one is keeping the rollers away from the thinner one. So I am going to cut them separately. Right, there is my panel. I just want to cut the aperture from it. I think I would like it about there, maybe a bit lower. No, there. A piece of tape. I put my tape mainly on the bit that's going to be cut out, so that if it does drag the card, it'll be a piece that I don't need. So there we go. And this plate has got an indentation here. I was cutting out some mylar with my precision plate, and it comes under extreme pressure, and it pushed into this fairly new top plate. So if I use it that way up, this impression will go on to the next piece of card that I'm going to cut. So either I would use a piece of mylar like this, or make sure I use the other side down onto the paper. All right, here's my front panel. Actually, I would like that a little bit further north. About there, I think. And I think I'm going to have this piece on foam tape. So, to make foam tape go around a circle, what I do is to press, tug, and it just breaks the edge of that release paper on the back, and I can just move it around the corner. Just a little tug will be enough to give it a little break, and then I can move it around the corner. saves doing lots of bits. About there, I think. Right, I'm going to cut a slice off the bottom of this piece. I think the position side to side is absolutely fine. Yeah. Right, to take off the backing. Okay, I've taken off the backing of the paper. These bits I've just pulled out to the side because the bottom bit is not going to be touching that card. So I've just put that on so it doesn't stick to the table and all this kind of stuff. So first thing, a little glue stick, just in case I don't get absolutely straight first of all. It'll give me just a bit of manoeuvrability. There we go. Right, let's try this. There we go. Isn't that pretty? I think that's lovely. And you see I can just got a tail now to just pull those end bits out. I haven't got it quite straight, have I? Look. That's better. Now, I need to stamp Merry Christmas, and I need to have these pair of deer, perhaps somehow like that. And I think I'm going to leave them white. Let me cut another couple. I did wonder about having them black in silhouette. I think it might be a bit harsh, actually. Let me, before I decide on that, let me stamp this sentiment. Now, do I want it silver or what do I want? I think embossed in silver might be nice, don't you? Let's just see. I'm going to stick this to my acrylic block with just a bit of glue stick. I'll try a silver one bit here. The powder in this smells lovely, absolutely lovely. Right, let's try. Silver. Such a lovely stamp. Absolutely love it. To me, the sign of a good stamp is when you emboss and it's a kind of a convex finish. Sometimes it looks very flat or even pitted, but this looks lovely. So I just need a little sentiment die to cut this out. Well, look at that. It just fits. Let's have this one. I've got a couple of magnetic sheets at the back of my desk here, and I keep a lot of little sentiment dies there. Oh, the Y is a bit... it's not actually deep enough. Now I'm looking at it, I don't think... Because if I have to do it like that to get the bottom of the Y in, the top is going to be very close to the top of the Christmas. So I don't think that's going to be wide enough. Let's try this one. It's a bit wider. I think that is better. So let's have this one. I'll have to shorten it slightly, but it is better. Let's get my... These black mats are magic mats from scrapbook.com. I absolutely love them. I've got mats for this machine. I've got mats for my switch as well. For some dies, they don't cut right through, particularly intricate dies, because there's that soft texture to them. But you can keep flattening them, and you don't have that problem of you know, really warped dies. As I say, the only thing is sometimes you might have to use a shim or something like that if it doesn't cut quite through an intricate die. Now I'm going to cut the other end, making the die slightly shorter, like that. So I've turned it round in the machine. We'll cut the other end, and then we'll have our sentiment. All I have to do is just go over the... So can you see? We've got a nice long die with a short sentiment cut from it. Okay, there's my Merry Christmas. Right, I'm just going to stack these deer to make them a little bit more robust, really. And I'm going to use the dab it on method, I don't know what you call it, with a basting brush. This is a little basting brush from the kitchen that's had its bristles cut off. And I'm just going to dab it into the glue so that the end of each of those bristles has got a little bit of glue on. And I'm just going to dab it onto the lower of the two creatures, and then I'll pop the other one on the top. It's really good if you've got things like these very, very fine legs. Chances are you'll get a little bit of glue on there so that you can stick the other one on the top. I will be absent tomorrow and Sunday. I'm going on my dirty weekend with Indigo Blue in Portsmouth. So meeting up with some friends that I made through crafting, which is absolutely lovely. And I'll be making something really rather interesting, I'm sure. Don't know what it's going to be, but I had an idea that it might be a printer's tray, whatever a printer's tray is. Let me just try that on my card base. Right, here's my card base. I think I'm going to leave them white and this white. Because I've got foam tape there, I think I will probably stick this one flat, thinking about postage. Just wondered about putting a bit of green around the edge, a bit of the... No, I'm going to stick it flat. Oh dear, decisions. I'm just wondering whether to do a tiny bit of double-sided foam sheet behind them. that will do for that one. You just take the top off this. Okay. There's that one done. So it'll be flat once I've stuck that down, and that it'll be, you know, supported all the way. Now how about this one? I think most of this, actually, just the tip of these legs can come off. All right. I think it's quite ambiguous which way this one is facing. They could be looking away or they could be looking towards, whichever your fancy takes you. Just going to put a little bit of glue onto the legs. And the same with this one. Take off the backing. Put on some glue. A bit of glue stick. There we go. It's kind of white on white, but it's not. When's white on white not white on white? When it's green. Okay. I like these kind of Christmas cards, and I love playing about with that kind of masking effect. And it's so easy to do, so quick. So thank you for watching. As I say, I apologise for my absence this weekend, but I will be having fun in Portsmouth. And I may have some things to show you when I get back. So thanks for the thumbs ups, and I'll see you next week.